Welcome once again to OB Science Lab, and today with us is a mathematical problem which says a factory has 80 employees. If the number of men is doubled and the women tripled, the staff strength would be 190. Find the initial number of men and women working in the factory. Of course, looking at this question carefully, our attention is being drawn to what we call word problem in mathematics. So let's head to the solution. Now, the question is asking us about the number of men and women employed in a particular factory. So we'll first identify these unknowns with any alphabet of our choice. So talking about any alphabet of our choice, let's start by saying let the number of men be equal to n, and also let the number of women be equal to w. So let's use m and w to represent the number of men and women respectively. So if that is the case, moving forward now, the first statement says that a factory has 80 employees. This statement simply tells us that the total number of men and women in that factory at this point in time is 80. So that means total number of men plus the total number of women, which is m plus w, should be equal to this 80. So let's start by saying m plus w, the total number of men plus the total number of women, is equal to 80 employees. We'll call this our equation 1. Again, the statement went further to say if the number of men is doubled, if the number of men which is n is doubled, the double of any number is 2 times the number. So this simply means 2n. This is the double of number of men. That if it is doubled and the women tripled, which means 3 times w, and the women tripled 3 times w. The statement is saying if this happens, the staff strength would be 190. So when this happened, when men is doubled and number of women tripled, that the staff strength of the factory is 190 employees. We can call this our equation 2. So we have been able to derive 2 equations from this statement. Then the question went further to ask us to find the initial number of men and women working in the factory. That means find the number of men and the number of women working in this factory. So let's use any of the methods of solving simultaneous equations to find our unknowns, which is m and w. Of course, we can use elimination method here. But before we can do that, let's balance this by multiplying our equation 1 by 2. So it can have an identical coefficient with this equation 2 in terms of m. So in doing that, that will give us 2 times m should give us 2m, and 2 times w should give us 2w. Then 2 times 80 should give us 160. We can call this equation 3. So we have equation 1, equation 2, and equation 3. So we can now work on these 2 equations to eliminate identical coefficients. The identical coefficient here we have is 2n. So we can subtract to eliminate the n. So 2m minus 2m will give us 0. It has been eliminated, which is the essence of the method called elimination method. Then let's move to the next term. Plus 3w minus plus 2w should give us plus 1w, which is 3w minus 2w will give us 1w. Then we'll have our equal sign. 190 minus 160 would give us 30. So we have been able to eliminate m. Having eliminated m, 0 plus w is still w, equal to 30. So our w is equal to 30. So if W is equal to 30, let's help to find N. So from equation 1, from m plus w equal to 80, m should be equal to 80 minus w. So m should be equal to 80 minus w. And having found that w is equal to 30, m should be 80 minus 30. And 80 minus 30 should give us 50. So I've been able to find the value for m and the value for w. Since we said let the number of men be n and let the number of women be w, and we haven't been able to identify m and w, therefore it means the number of men is 50 and women is 30. So there are 50 male employees and 30 female employees in this factory, and that is our answer. Thank you for watching.